In a sensational military operation, the Indian Army has successfully ambushed and neutralized several heavily armed Pakistani infiltrators, which included Pakistani BAT commandos or the Border Action Team. The Indian Army operation was carried out along the LoC or line of control in the Battal area of Krishna Ghati sector in Poonch district during the intervening night of February 4th and 5th, but details are just trickling out. Multiple news portals have reported on this operation, which once again highlights Indian Army's intelligence and tactical superiority over Pakistani military's special units. Pakistani military had set up a special border action team or BAT to help terrorists infiltrate into India and attack a forward post with an attempt to seize it. But now, Islamabad's BAT military unit itself was ambushed and neutralized by the Indian Army. In total, there were 7 heavily armed infiltrators who attempted to sneak into the Indian side of the LoC. Little did they know that they were already being tracked by Indian forces who had laid a trap for the Pakistani infiltrators. Apart from terrorists, the team was being led by 2 Pakistani Army BAT personnel who were reportedly blown up after one of them stepped on a landmine and the other received critical injuries. Initial reports from the scene indicated that the explosion occurred very close to the barbed wire fence. The infiltrators themselves were carrying IEDs, which also exploded, inflicting further grievous casualties. After the Indian military laid this successful ambush, the Pakistani Army attempted to cover up the failed infiltration attempt. A Jammu-based senior officer of the security grid confirmed to the Pioneer, quote, 2 dead bodies were lying close to the line of control while others were dragged inside Pakistani territory with the help of Pakistani Army regulars to prevent any further flare-up of tensions between the neighboring countries, unquote. Now, an official statement by the Indian Army is still awaited, but the Ministry of Defence confirmed an explosion took place along the line of control in the Battal area of Mendhar around 2:30 am last week. Following this embarrassment, Pakistani military violated the ceasefire agreement made in February 2021. Pakistani soldiers resorted to unprovoked firing towards Indian forward posts on the 12th of February in the Poonch district along the line of control. Now, the violation prompted a befitting response from the Indian military, who said that the enemy forces suffered heavy casualties. Indian soldiers put their lives on the line to keep the nation safe. In a sad incident, an army captain was killed by an IED blast in Jammu's Aknoor sector on the 11th of February. In another incident in the Nowshera district of Rajouri, an Indian soldier was gunned down from across the border. In an indication of rising tensions along the LoC, 4 cross-border incidents were reported in just 5 days. However, the Indian Army maintains there is no major threat to national security. It stated, quote, the situation remains stable and being closely monitored. The Indian Army maintains a high state of alertness and is dominating the LoC, unquote.
Terrorism is an enemy of humanity.
Intensifying a crackdown on terrorists, the Union Minister Amit Shah chaired a high-level security review meeting in New Delhi last week, where he directed all security agencies to step up the fight against terrorism by aiming for zero infiltration goal.
हम किसी के साथ झगड़ा नहीं चाहते, परंतु हमारी सीमाओं की सुरक्षा हमारी प्राथमिकता है.
The uptick in violence comes as Pakistan continues to give mixed signals to India, as Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif last week urged for dialogue with India to resolve all disputes, including Kashmir. Despite unleashing a reign of terror in Kashmir for decades, the Pakistani Prime Minister is now batting for talks. However, New Delhi is not falling for this double talk. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi asserted on the 13th of January that infiltration attempts from Pakistan continue. He said, quote, 60% of terrorists killed in Jammu and Kashmir in 2024 were of Pakistani origin. Violence levels in Jammu and Kashmir are being orchestrated by the epicenter of terrorism in Pakistan, unquote. Surprisingly, the Pakistani army chief then came out openly in defense of the terrorists, saying, quote, any misadventure against Pakistan will be met with the full force of the state, unquote. So is General Munir now openly admitting that Pakistan is backing terrorists? However, Pakistan's role as a global epicenter of terror is well-known fact. After all, the Pakistani military had been shielding Osama bin Laden. Now the world is on India's side.
Innocent civilians from the threat of radical Islamic terrorism.
Have your say. Will Pakistan ever be able to match Indian military superiority? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.